Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the money. Pauly Howard, Mike Paul, Mitch back tomorrow. Huge show coming up. Our final regular season Monday night game with a twist. Means nothing for Detroit, but Campbell says we're going to go out there and try to win it, and a little revenge for last year. In half an hour, we'll go out to San Fran, talk to Jeremy Reisman, covers the Lions for the Pride of Detroit, and Nick Bogdanovich, circa bookmaker, Hall of Famer, on a wild weekend in college football. We go to another round of the playoffs that start tomorrow with Boise and Penn State. In Pocket Place, you cannot be serious. Good, the bad, the ugly. How you doing, Maestro? You fired up.
Fun day, fun weekend of the NFL. A lot of survivor implications, obviously hedging. Some great play, some horrific play. We'll give you both sides of it.
Yes. Well, we got big news here before we recap what happened over the weekend and what happened here at Circa. What to do with these Week 18 games? Who's going to play people? Who needs it for the top 3, top 4 draft pick? What are you going to do? Hot off the presses. Tomlin, I don't see a reason why we're going to sit people if Baltimore wins the early game. Cincinnati down to 1.5. They have to have it, but it's peculiar by the league that they go Baltimore early and then Cincinnati, Pittsburgh for the Saturday game.
It's peculiar also from a survivor standpoint, Paul, about do you dare use to Cincinnati in this spot, right? Because you're not going to know the result. And what's Pittsburgh going to do? It's a consideration, right? For people that don't have certain other teams against the bottom of the AFC South. Obviously, Tampa, those that have Tampa and those that have Atlanta are probably going to use those teams because those are simultaneous. So both seem they need to win, one to force the other to win and one in case the other wins, right?
Tampa's a dream scenario.
Wow.
Well, you got a team that's laying 14.
Saints,
yes, right. Yeah, right.
I watched that. That was you got to. If somebody spent 8 hours watching Raiders, Saints, and then Browns and Dolphins, what a Sunday! I don't know if you could dream of a better Sunday than that.
Yes, that's the best line you had before the show. Saturday night was great. Cincinnati, Denver was drunk. Arizona and the Rams. Sunday night game, which we'll get to. Raheem Morris, but you were fixated on Miami, Cleveland.
Oh God! As an underplayer, you just love it, right?
McDaniel will not throw the ball downfield.
He wants to throw short passes. Yes. He wants to run Huntley around the end. Yeah. And you got DTR with 25 incompletions. I mean, it's incredible, really.
Right. If I'm Tomlin, though, I want to play Houston and not Baltimore.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a big deal. Which I know you split with Baltimore, but the way Houston comes limping in, I'm playing to win if I'm Tomlin. Chargers are 6. I think they're going to go for it if they get a Pittsburgh loss. Same scenario there. If you're the Chargers, you want to take on Houston. That's me thinking out loud. Washington up to 4. I know Gil was talking about this earlier today. Dan Quinn, seeding matters. I want to get the 6. He doesn't want to play Philadelphia again. So up to 4 against Dallas. That makes total sense, and I'm with him on that one. A 5-point move in the Houston-Tennessee game. Tennessee was as high as 5. I don't know why. But now Ryans comes out and says, the starters and everyone, get ready to play. We're not playing well. Expect to go out there and play. It's down to pick them. And then Callahan says, I'm playing both quarterbacks.
I've never seen a team that's 2-14 against the spread.
It's never happened. I know. It's historic.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
They're playing in the weakest division in football. They're 2-14 against the spread.
Yes.
How can that be?
An all-timer, my friend. No doubt about it. And then the Eagles are laying 3 against the Giants, and the Bills are 2.5 against the Patriots. Locke said it. We're focused on winning. I'm not concerned about the draft pick. And the Patriot, now Mayo said everything's under consideration. Will he go with Brissett and sit May? Which he's got to sit May. But the Patriots are saying we're not concerned about the draft pick after what the Giants just did. Unbelievable. And we'll get into that in 10 minutes too about what a mess this is with who's going to get the number 1 pick and what could happen here. And the fascinating scenario is they're division games. So if I'm the Eagles, why do I want to help out the Giants and give them a top 4 pick? Same thing with the Bills too about, if I win the game, then the Patriots get the number 1 overall pick.
It's very interesting that this could fall in the Patriots' lap and they can trade down and get a haul.
Absolutely.
Because they have their quarterback.
That's exactly
right. But they're so bereft of talent everywhere else.
Right.
What a situation for them.
Yes, and it's just the damage you're doing here by winning meaningless games. And, of course, the Raiders
How about
won
the
again.
Raiders? They're going to win out. Are they going to try to win?
Yes.
They're trying to save his job.
God.
I mean, Pearson's job.
High comedy. So more on that coming up. What we'll get to as well, and information that comes in with what the coaches are saying with their press conferences. Saturday night was as good as it gets, right?
Beautiful. What a setup.
The Denver game was nuts. The Arizona Rams game, the survivor implications, 8 people on the Rams. Looks like Arizona's going to win the game. What did you see Arizona in play once they were driving inside the 10?
When they had first and goal at the 5, I saw anywhere from 180 to 190 across in Las Vegas, across the apps. And I'm wondering if the survivors that had the Rams had the ability to get that, because it's happening in real time, right? The final drive, and you almost get to the point where it's so late in the game you might not be able to get a number up. And of course, how much can you get down at that point when your ticket's worth $420,000?
Yes,
right.
Yes, but to your point, Friday, here's another example where if you took the points, you won. You advanced to Week 18 and you cashed your ticket.
Another middle.
Another middle.
The Bears game was a middle Thursday. This was a middle on Saturday.
Strange game where the Rams are up 10. They couldn't pull away. Arizona hanging in there. McBride goes crazy. They finally get him the touchdown, and they're going to win the game. But Murray throws an Aroldis Chapman fastball at him from the 5-yard line.
He could care if they win one game, this guy. He's awful. Absolutely awful. Did you think it was an interception?
Yes.
You did. That's strange to me.
I also thought the spot was correct, too.
The spot was correct because he wasn't touched, and he rolled out and hit the pylon when he was at the half-yard line.
Yes.
A good spot.
Incredible play. And then everything goes their way on Sunday, and they clinch the division.
He was 1-4. Right? With no offensive line.
I know.
1-4, and the whole line was banged up.
I know. Some of these coaching jobs this year, O'Connell's going to win it. He's 1-10. But between O'Connell, Andy Reid, Dan Campbell, McVay, some awesome coaching jobs this year.
You know, he won't win, and they lost yesterday. But LaFleur did his best job that he's done in his career this year with Green Bay as well. Remember, he wins 2 games when Love are out, running as a wing T formation.
Well, a lot of people were tweeting it, though, a little concerned you haven't beat a good team. I mean, look, you get swept by Detroit, you get swept by Minnesota, you lost to Philadelphia, you almost lost to Houston at home. I mean, I like to see a little meat on the bone there, but certainly you're going to have a tough.
If that's the 6-3 Packers at Rams, they played the game earlier. The Packers won a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, though, you have to take a look at maybe a home dog there in that spot.
Yeah. And then the middle game was absolutely bananas. Again, these guys cannot figure out when to slide, what to do. Take it out of the hands of Chase Brown.
Yes.
Don't even run a play. Just take a knee 3 times, kick the field goal close to the gun, 10 seconds left, and then you win the game. He did the same thing, I know because it benefited me. He did the same thing in the Sunday night game against the Giants. He rips off a long run on first. If he falls down, the game's over. He scored. Now, they still won anyways. The Giants came down. They missed the field goal as they were down 2 scores. But here he gets hurt, which allows Denver to keep their timeouts. Then Burrow has to sneak it in. Then you give Denver all that time and the chance, and whoop-de-doo. You know, they still have time there to get the incredible play on 4th and 1 for the touchdown.
Yeah, meanwhile, neither of these coaches want points, right? Everybody wants to go on 4th down. They've got long drives, no points. I mean, he had a 9-minute drive and an 11-minute drive, come away with nothing in the first half.
Right.
I don't get it.
Right.
They could have been up 6-3.
He throws at the 2-yard line in overtime when the field goal wins the game, which plus 3.5 is an all-timer on Denver and the under. It's ridiculous. It's $1 million to 1 shot. Guys running out of bounds. Peyton calling timeouts in overtime when he needs the tie to advance.
He kicked the extra point so he could have a shot at a tie, and he's calling timeouts.
Yeah. And then Sunday night. Last night, baby. Oh, if you went to bed early, you missed one. 17-7 Atlanta at halftime. Daniels goes right down the field. Penix looked calm, cool, and collected. Shame on the whole organization for not making the quarterback change earlier. But then Washington comes all the way back, and then 2nd and goal from the 1. Come on. And they can't punch it in. The door's open for Atlanta. 4th and 11, no problem. 4th and goal from the 13, no problem. And then a 56-yard field goal to win it. And then they're going to likely win the division. But then the management, the clock issues, timeouts.
Morris ludicrous.
Yeah, I can't wait for you. Can't be serious.
Well, meanwhile, with the nonsense with Morris not calling that timeout with 34 seconds, overshadows how Washington's on the 1 yard line to go up 11 with 5 minutes to go, and nobody's going to talk about that. It's an epic fail. And to your point, 4th and 11, 2nd and goal from the 26, and 4th and goal from the 13.
Yep.
Epic.
Yep.
Epic. So Paul, I ended up using Washington on the money line in a ticket to complete a 3-teamer, right?
Uh-huh.
So when they got the holding penalty that put him back to the 11, Atlanta endgame was still plus 850.
Yes.
So I had to take 300 on it.
I saw the same thing.
And if they're going to make the field, so it evened out the bet. I gave up 300 of my parlay, but it evened out the payout on the bet. It was like $80 difference, so I didn't care. I almost wanted Atlanta to kick the field goal and win it. And then Morris decides he wants to take his timeouts to overtime.
Yep.
Like, how quick do you think a rookie can get a playoff?
I know.
It took 17. He says, well, we thought we could get it off quicker. Who cares? You got 2.
It's getting worse every year with these guys.
Every week.
Watching Chicago every week. Yes.
Matt, this Brown guy.
Oh, if you watched Belichick today with McAfee, it's incredible. They threw everything at Belichick on what happened over the weekend. He was so damn good about stuff like that. It's just an epic fail and just a horrible job that Atlanta, with a commanding lead in this division, is going to miss the playoffs. My God.
Did you see the video on the bar in Atlanta where they didn't realize it was short? They just saw the field goal go and it was accurate, and they were all dancing around, celebrating. They had no idea it was short.
My favorite video was the Eagles fans telling Jerry Jones in his box, "Great job, Jerry. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. We love what you're doing." And I think he didn't know it was a put-on. He's like, "Okay, yeah, thanks a lot." What's going on with the draft order, the implications on Sunday, and more chaos in Survivor. Straight ahead, follow the money.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Whole game going on right now. Iowa leads Missouri 21-14 at halftime. Iowa 6 and 58 in play at Will Hill and Caesars. Week 17 of the NFL, favorites went 14-1 straight up and 12-3 ATS. How did it go here at Circa?
You know, Paul, since week 5, this is the highest rate that favorites have won the game straight up at. You know, for 2 months, we've needed a favorite to lose, and the one favorite we needed to win, because 16 people were hedging the Giants on the money line with their Colts Survivor entry. We couldn't get it done. Colts again. Every year, the Colts lose as a big favorite and take out a significant portion of the field. Usually, it's early in the year. This year, it was late. They took out almost half the field, losing to the Giants, and it was no fluke. The Giants went up and down the field.
The second neighbor's touchdown is an abomination. There are 3 guys there. On the sideline, there's 2 of them. And he's right by the out of bounds. He splits them. He splits them and doesn't get touched. It's embarrassing that Drew Lock, who's been horrible, goes for 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing, and 300 yards. And now you're out of the playoffs. Now, what fan base is more furious? The Giants fans or the Colts fans? Because the Giants now blow the number 1 draft pick. The Patriots lose, they get the number 1 pick. They are guaranteed a top 5 pick. New England, Tennessee, Cleveland, and the Giants are all 3-13. Cleveland's doing it the right way. Yeah. You trot out a guy, career 1 touchdown, 10 interceptions. He's horrendous.
He had a QBR under 30 for his career.
Yes, that's another one.
Think about that.
Oh, it's impossible. So they're doing it the right way. Jacksonville, Carolina, Jets, Raiders, Bears, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all 4-12. I don't know what's going to happen here and how these teams are going to treat this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win again, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee goes out there and they win. I know the Browns are going to get massacred. That's the one thing I know. But that's an 18-point spread, my God. But it's how are these teams going to treat this coming up with the Bills and also the Eagles? And do these teams go out and win games? And who's going to get? You're right. What a scenario for the Patriots. They have their quarterback. They're just going to get a haul and then address all their needs because someone is going to have to trade up and get one of these 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I think they're happier with the quarterback that they have than what they could have get in this year's draft, right? It's not a quarterback deep draft. You made a good point when we were talking off air about the 3-4 situation. Rams playing Seahawks. The Rams already have a better conference record, or the Tampa Bay already has a better conference record than the Rams. So if Tampa Bay wins, which against the Saints we can't imagine they wouldn't, and the Rams should happen to lose to the Seahawks, they move up to the 3. And then you go down to the 4, you're hosting Detroit or Minnesota in the first round. So it's also an important game for the Rams.
Yeah, I'm not sure the right team's favored there, which you want to say about rest, but I have to play the best wild card team in NFL history. I'm likely going to play a 14-win wild card team. I don't want the 4 seed. So that's interesting to look at as well. But the lot on the line here as far as what could happen with Week 18 and also the draft. So Survivor now. 8 escaped with the Rams. Arizona should have won the game. The ups and downs. We also, unique situation, the one individual who used the Chargers. Never a sweat.
I give you credit there. You would really like the Chargers.
Yeah.
You really like
it's
the Chargers.
It's Harbaugh against Mayo. It's Harbaugh extended rest. It's winning in for Harbaugh. And did whatever they wanted. And McConkey was great. So was Herbert. 3 people had him available. 1 person used him. 1 person was through. And then you watch the show Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So good with Samit, Stevens, and Benson. You had the one individual on the Eagles, also easy. But all 4 remaining games then were on the early games. So we knew what was going to happen by 1:15. Bills, no problem. Eagles, no problem. Tampa, no problem. And then the Colts, which you're right, 3 of the last 4 years, they've screwed up their season with an ugly loss and 16 people on the Colts. So now the equity, $730,000. One final week, we're down to 18. A dream scenario if you have Tampa.
Or almost 800, Paul. 790.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
792. Yeah, almost 800,000. So now what do you do in terms of monetizing your ticket? Remember, we'll post the tie numbers. We'll post the tie. We had some people betting the ties already last week. And for the people taking credit that are taking it against the equity in their ticket, you got to insure it, because what happens? You hedge the other team, you tie, you're out, and you end up in. Oh, by the way, you owe Derek 400. Wait, what?
Yeah,
you're right. How Survivor ruined my life. Right?
Yes,
I mean, so
Denver should have been a tie, no doubt.
Absolutely should have been a tie. So you have to think about that as well. The team with the most availability left is Atlanta. So I think the Falcons probably will be the most selected.
No one has Denver. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, Denver, no.
Right,
how about Packers against Bears?
Well, you're going to be a 9-10 point favorite. So
right.
That's not bad. It helps you hedging. If you have Tampa dream situation.
Dunze might not play.
Right.
Only Bears are a mess.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, again, what are you going to work with? What do I have to work with?
Yep.
I don't have much to do here. Mm-hmm. So those are your top 3 options, right? Unless I'm missing something.
No, that's it.
Not many people have Tampa, but if you do, it's a dream scenario. Right. You can take the 7-8 to 1. 7-1 on Saints money line, or take the 14.5 and just sit back in the rocking chair. Atlanta, big favorite, got to have the game, 7.5 point favorite, and then you can lay it with Green Bay. Now maybe the Bears shock the world, but at least you're looking at how many times are you going to get this scenario though? Even though Green Bay doesn't have anything to play for, they're still a 9-10 point favorite.
If Washington loses, Green Bay can move up to the 6.
That's right.
So they do have that to avoid Philadelphia.
Right. Although I can't see that happening. But then again, scoreboard watching as well. Is there anyone else think that, that's about it, right? Those are your big 3. How it'll be used, and how is there enough time where these 18 people could work out a deal? Or
no,
you
I
just say,
so. No. Remember, they've sold pieces of it too.
To each other, right?
They've sold pieces to other people, and now do you get somebody has 4%. Now I got to get all of them to agree to the deal, I don't think so. I think that chopping with more than 10 people is almost impossible now because of the way tickets are sliced up. So I think it plays out, obviously.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, fair enough. What's going on with selling percentages going up to Survivor Sweat as well. The Arizona finish. And watching that money line, along with what happened last night, you got to be quick. Good point about how much will they take and how much can you get down. But for Arizona to be -1, I would say only -180 inside the 5 yard.
First thing go up to 5, you're not going to run out of time.
Yes.
You got to get stopped or turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. After you've just come back the whole second half. It did nothing in the first half.
Yeah. And then what was going on with Atlanta to be +850? Which I took some of that as well.
850. I said if they kick a field goal, they're only down a score. right? They can't be plus 850. And now you're back to the 12-yard line. That's when I punched it. I could have walked away from the game if they're up 11 with 5 minutes left. But once they had the holding, why they're throwing the ball anyhow at the goal line, I don't know. But once they had the holding, they got back there. I said, I got to take it.
Wasn't it 6-1 when it was like 4th and 11 from midfield?
Yes.
I think that's what it was. Right.
It went back up. It went back up to 6-1.
After the fourth.
And it was still plus 450 once it was 2nd and goal at the 26. I had it on the whole time. I had the number on the whole time.
How do you give that up?
Meanwhile, before he goes to take the 56-yard field goal, I could have cashed it out. The $300 ticket would have cashed out $1,600. But then I wouldn't have had any protection. But then I hit the parlay anyhow. I would have had a big score if I would have rolled the dice there.
Yeah.
But I said, the way this is going here, he's going to make,
I took the cash out on on Atlanta plus 4.5. But then, good thing I did. But then I win the coin toss, and that's
good thing you did. Yeah.
Oh my God, right down the field. But it's like, how was that not a tie in the Denver game? You stopped Cincinnati twice, and you still can't get a tie.
There's only supposed to be 3 possessions in overtime.
Yeah.
Well, if that. There could be 2.
Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app. Never been easier to stay connected to the action, whether you're on your phone, tablet, or your smart TV. Absolutely free for a limited time with the VSiN Watch app. 24/7 live access to the audio and video streams, replays of your favorite shows. Never miss a beat. The ability to stream directly to your smart TV for the big screen experience. Quick access to clips by sport, tailored to your interest, and a search feature that lets you find exactly the insights you're looking for from VSiN experts. Great stuff up there every single day. Good stuff with the picks and props from Cohen on the NBA, NFL picks, Monday Night Football as well, and soccer and the Bulls. Don't miss out. Get the VSiN Watch app. Stay in the game wherever you are. I mean, it's really hard to talk about the worst beat, whether it was Denver plus 3.5, Denver Cincinnati under, or the under in the Washington-Atlanta game. It's probably Denver-Cincinnati under. But the beats there, if you had Atlanta and Denver plus 3.5, take a vacation.
I'll argue it's the Denver plus 3.5. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they could have run the clock out and kicked the field goal. And then he misses a field goal. And then he could have kicked the field goal to win it from the 2-yard line.
Couldn't believe he did that.
3 different ways you lost that bet.
I couldn't believe he did that. Threw the ball in that scenario. I couldn't believe it. And then he's got to hit Higgins on the bomb, too. That's the other thing. I mean, if he just throws a long pass to Higgins, but he stays in bounds and he's maybe down at the 7 or the 8, then he comes out, the guy dating the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, and they call it good. We'll go to the Bay Area up next. Our final Monday night game. Jeremy Reisman covers the Lions. How will they treat it tonight with Campbell? Coming up.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Pauly Howard, Mike Palm, Follow the Money. Mitch Moss back tomorrow. Monday Night Football, the final regular season game on Monday night. And Detroit down to 3 here at Circa. Total of 50 to break down the game. Jeremy Reisman, Lions writer for Pride of Detroit, prideofdetroit.com. Follow him on X and check out the site as well. He's on the Progressive guest line. Appreciate the time, sir. Let's start with the poll that you guys put up and what the results are right now, and what say you? Should the Lions rest people tonight?
Yeah, it's a tough one. As you mentioned, we put up a poll on the site, and currently 45 says yes, they should. 45% say yes, they should. Rest the starters, 55% say no. That's over 4,500 votes. And so there's a lot of strong feelings about it in Detroit. And if you don't know the full situation, basically there's nothing up for grabs tonight, except if the Lions and Vikings tie next week, where, the number 1 seed is going to be decided next week, no matter what happens tonight. But if they theoretically tie in that NFC North deciding game, the Lions are going to need this game tonight to win the division. Is that enough to rest your starters or to play your starters? I don't know. I don't think so. Honestly, I think the Lions would be wise, particularly because they're going into a short week too, right? The Vikings already got a leg up, a day up on their preparation for this game. The Lions can kind of retake the advantage there if they rest some of their key starters now, so that they aren't going to be tired. They're going to have, basically 13 days of rest for those key players. Now, obviously you can't bench everybody. The roster isn't big enough to rest every single starter. But I think when you think about, the key players that are out there for the Lions, your quarterbacks, your running backs, or wide receivers, some of those offensive linemen that are key to what they do on the offensive side of the ball. I think it would make sense to either limit how much they play today or bench them entirely. But unfortunately, Dan Campbell was asked this question last week, thinking about the scenario that could happen. And he said, we're going 100%. This is an important game for us. We don't, rest starters. We don't really do that in Detroit. So the expectation is that the Lions are going to play everybody tonight, whether that's the right or wrong decision.
How much of this, Jeremy, goes into Dan Campbell's psychology and like this revenge tour he's on? I mean, in Dallas, he calls a timeout late so he can report a tackle eligible. I mean, like, he's got a very long memory, and I'm sure the longest memory is losing that NFC Championship game in San Francisco. Does your gut tell you he's going to go all out here for 4 quarters?
It wouldn't surprise me at all. I do think that is in a lot of his DNA, and it's not just pettiness or revenge or anything like that. It's just a matter of he's a master motivator. Like, he knows that there are a lot of people in that locker room that were there last year that were walking off the field at Levi Stadium last year and are still hurting from that game. And so yeah, he's certainly going to weaponize that and make sure that they're at their best in this game. And so to me, it's not so much about him getting revenge for his team. It's about his opportunities to motivate his team and, make a statement across the NFL, make a statement to the Vikings next week that, you think this is a game that we don't need or we don't care about. This is how much we care about every single game. So you guys better be ready on Sunday night.
Good said. Well said. Good answers. I just can't imagine what he said Wednesday. Get ready to play. We're winning the game. And then, last second, throw it out the window. Now we're going to sit people as we're already out in San Francisco and the Vikings beat the Packers. How many guys would be available to come back if they make a deep postseason run?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is insistent that he would play in a Super Bowl should the Lions make it that far. I'm a little skeptical of that, but, he's a guy that is very motivated. And if there's anyone that can do it from a broken fibula and tibia, it'd probably be him. It's been I think it'll be about 4 months, which is the lowest estimate of a possible return from that injury. I think they expect to get David Montgomery back in the divisional round of the playoffs. So as long as they make it to the second round, I think he's expected to be back. Other than that, though, I don't think you're really expecting much of anybody else to come back. Alex Anzalone should be back next week, probably for that Sunday night matchup. But anyone else, on that really, really long Lions injury list is probably out for good.
What's your prediction tonight? And if San Francisco, Purdy's been bad the last couple of weeks. They're on 2 third-string linemen to protect him tonight.
Yeah.
What do you think if the Lions come out and hammer them, and if San Francisco can pose a threat offensively?
Yeah, I mean, the Lions are obviously still working through all those defensive injuries of their own. And so I do wonder if they're a team that can take advantage of a beat-up offensive line. Their pass rush hasn't been particularly good. So, even the Bears last week were able to move the ball relatively well against the Lions defense. And we all know what happened against the Bills the previous week from that. So the 49ers still have a ton of skill position players. I think, Kyle Shanahan is a very smart coach who's capable of, making a good offensive game plan despite missing some pieces. But you're right. There has been some offensive struggles. Purdy hasn't been anywhere near as good as he was last year. And so I think the question is simply like, can the 49ers keep up with the Lions offense that I think is still going to have a pretty strong game? I know the 49ers have a lot of really good defensive players. They're actually relatively healthy on that side of the ball. But the Lions offense is kind of another being, and the 49ers defense has kind of struggled down the stretch here. So yeah. I'm thinking it's a shootout, and it's just a matter of whether the 49ers can keep pace.
Well, everyone's concerned about the Lions side of the ball when handicapping that game. But Jeremy, to your point, there's been very little resistance out of the 49ers. They've lost 5 of 6, and the only win is at home to the Bears. Yep. All right, so basically they've done nothing now for over a month and a half. We haven't seen it. They look very lethargic in Miami. It might not matter what Dan Campbell does or how long he plays his starters if the 49ers play the way they have been.
Yes, it's definitely true. I mean, and if you track some of the statistical numbers too, it's not just that they're losing games; it's that their offense is below average. It's that their defense, which had been a top 5 unit for most of the year, has been below average, and so it's just they're playing like a team that's been eliminated already, which is a bit surprising to me because I think there's a lot of guys on that team that are very prideful that don't really start booking tee times or anything like that. I think they're a really strongly led team. So it's been surprising to me to see them have just such a big collapse down the stretch here.
Follow the money. Pauly Howard, Mike Palm, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Jeremy Reisman, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. Lions beat writer, prideofdetroit.com. So you mentioned, can the Niners keep pace? You think the Lions go up and down the field? How about a couple props? Gibbs over receiving yards, 27.5. St. Brown, 72.5 yards.
Ooh, man, the St. Brown one's tough because he has games in which, he can put up 150. He has games in which, he's just kind of a side piece there. I do like the Gibbs one, though. I would probably pick the over there because he's been a pretty big part of the offense, obviously, since David Montgomery's gone. And he's been a bigger part of the passing game in particularly recently. Obviously, the 49ers have a decent linebacking core, but they're going to be missing. They're missing the guy who quit on the team. They're missing the guy who tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. I can't remember his name off the bat. So, there's opportunity there for sure. But they spread the ball around so much that a high prop like that for a receiver is a tough one for me to fully commit to, even though St. Brown is third or fourth in receiving yards this year. They spread the ball so much, whether it's the tight end, whether it's Jameson Williams, and obviously, whether it's the running backs or really anybody, they find one matchup, it seems like, each week and kind of hammer that one. And you never really know who it's going to be.
Well, they've been taking deep shots to Williams, and they've been hitting on him. He's only 51.5, and he was big in the NFC title game. Could you get over 51.5 with Williams?
It's possible. He could get over 51.5 with a single catch.
Yes.
The way he plays. And he's very much a boomer bust kind of guy, too. I think he just set up a career high last week with over 150 yards. He also has a game where he had negative yardage. That's just kind of the way it goes. I wouldn't be surprised. Like Jameson, I don't know if it's available anywhere, but Jameson Williams rushing yards, to me, would be an interesting one because that was another a big thing he had in the NFC Championship game. The first score in that game was a 30-some yard reverse touchdown. So that'd be kind of a fun one to play, I would say, because obviously the Lions are looking for some explosiveness from their run game without David Montgomery, and I don't think they want to run Jahmyr Gibbs into the ground and give him 30 carries in this game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see an end around or two to Jameson Williams, and maybe he hits one for 20-plus yards.
Good tidbit. He's 11-1 first touchdown. Less than a minute. Let's say the Lions win by 14 points. What's your prediction Sunday night?
Oh, man. I at this point, I have to take the Lions just because they've had the Vikings number as of late. But, man, to me, that is another game that I fully expect to be a shootout. I think the Vikings have a really explosive offense. The Lions are really the one team that seems to have found a way to attack that Brian Flores defense and find success consistently. So I'll take the Lions in a shootout that, NBC is going to get their money's worth for that matchup. Sure. I think it's going to be a really fun game. Great job, Jeremy. Awesome knowledge, good tidbits. Hopefully the prop cashes, and we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the game. All right, sounds good. Thank you. Jeremy Reisman covers the Lions. I cannot believe this is the scenario. Be the 5? Yeah. And you got to go on the road. Pretty tough. And you could have 14 wins. And then we're probably going to get round 3. You could get Lions, Vikings round 3. In sports betting and trading, understanding probability, the ultimate game changer. Unlock the secrets of high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horwitz, a former floor trader and seasoned sports bettor with over 45 years of experience. Visit BubbaTrading.com/VSiN today. Promo code VSiN500 to save $500. Don't miss your chance. Sharpen your strategy. Gain the edge in your trading game. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Promo code VSiN500. 4 horrific beats over the weekend and 2 huge jackpots around town. Win some, lose some. Up next.
Were you a winner last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
We only have a couple of Mondays left with these. I'm going to cry. First touchdown Sunday, Eagles 6-1. Highest scoring game, Giants Colts 10-1. Lowest scoring game, you nailed it, Paul. Yes. Browns Dolphins 5-1 and lowest scoring team Browns 6-1. You called it. They could keep in that stadium all day. They couldn't score a touchdown.
Still be playing.
Horrible. Highest scoring team, Buccaneers 4-1. That was easy. Most passing yards Sunday, Darnold 5-1. Most rushing yards, Barkley plus 250. That was easy. Most receiving yards, Neighbors 20-1. An embarrassment by the Colts. Giants money line plus 330. Saturday games. Most receiving yards, Higgins 8-1. I didn't see what 3 touchdowns paid. You can send it in. Higgins 2 touchdowns, 11-1. McConkey 12-1. Parlay, this I saw. FanDuel 155-1. Someone had that ticket. Chargers to score 40 points, 10-1. Davis first touchdown, 60-1. Anytime touchdown, 10-1. Higgins first touchdown plus 850. Burrow anytime 6-1. To go to overtime, 12-1. And then in the late game, Williams first touchdown plus 350. It just went final. Premier League, Ipswich Town plus 650 beat Chelsea 2-0. So what was Ipswich Town to win to 0, and what was Ipswich minus a goal and a half, like you said during the break? How much that paid. Man, great job, Mike Somich Friday. And also the Meat Man with some good picks as well. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. Mike, this is our guy, Barry. Oh,
Man,
excuse me,
he's right out there. He's right
Barry's here?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
right
one
over
second. Got ahead of him. First of all, we'll go to Red Rock in Summerlin. They have the huge Progressives sequential Royal Flush. Sequential. This was a $1.25 bet. It paid $44,000. They were dealt ace, queen of diamonds, and it came king, jack, 10. Bang. They have every denomination there, too, listed. What a feeling.
Can you get it reverse sequential? Is there a consolation payout if it comes with the 10 first?
That same thing.
They should.
Yeah, sure. Same thing. Now our guy, Barry. He's out here hanging? He's
over there in his spot that he always is in the bleachers over there.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
He's always here playing.
Yeah.
He once hit 32,000 when I was playing next to him in a high limit up at the D. This is he had
good tournament player.
Very good tournament player. Yeah, I want to say this is a win some and a lose some. So he's playing 25-cent 10-play Ultimate X. He gets dealt aces with a kicker, but no multipliers. So he walks away with only $5,000. Come on. How do he gets no
really
multipliers?
Hard not to have any multipliers.
That's right. Yeah, but the son of a gun has been dealt 3 Royals, though, on dollars 50 cent. When I was sitting next to him, he got dealt aces, 50-cent 10-play, and one of them was 12 times. Incredible. How about this? They're going on a trip. The human's packing his bag, his luggage. Here comes the dog. Well, I'm coming with. I'm going to put my toys in there. The human's putting his clothes in to get ready for the trip, and he's packing. And here comes the dog. Well, don't forget about me, right? And he's got his toys, and he's just putting. Okay, I got this one. All right, here's my second favorite toy coming out. I'm gonna make sure you get that one in there. I'll put that in the bag. He's got wagging his tail, all dressed up. He's smart. How good is that? That's awesome. It's the other angle where they always get depressed if they see the luggage and you're leaving.
Start crying.
Yeah, right. Here he's like, I'm going. Here are my toys. This was great. So, the Wembanyama, because the Spurs played in the Garden on Christmas and then they stayed there and played the Nets, he tweeted, "Who wants to meet me at the southwest corner of Washington Square Park to play chess? I'm there." And then people showed up, and there he is playing chess. If you guys put the picture up, and then you get the picture, and then as everyone gathered around, and here's the 7'4" guy in the park playing chess. Everyone can walk up and play. Just puts it out there and not a care in the world.
I've got a chess story, and you cannot be serious.
Oh, I saw that. Did it make it? Good job.
Incredible.
I love it. That's awesome. Lose some. Hurricanes +1 to -5. Lost to Iowa State.
It's also in you cannot be serious.
Okay.
My boy Cristobal again.
Yeah. Cowboys 11.5 down to 7.5 in the under. 43.5 down to 38. No shot. Browns from 6.5 down to 3. No shot. You cannot be serious. The ACC is 0-10 ATS in the bowls. Impossible. It's like the Titans who are 2-14. Act accordingly because there's 3 more in action this week. Bad for the books. Chargers 3.5 up to 6. No problem against the Patriots. Miami and the Browns under. 42 down to 32.5. Raiders +1.5 to -1.5. UConn 5.5 down to +1.5. One outright. Syracuse, how bad was this result? 5.5 up to 19. Won by 17. Is that bad?
Not that awful.
Okay. USC A&M over 50.5 up to 56.5. 35-31. Bad beats. I was involved in several. Bills Jets under 44.5. 9-0. 5 minutes left in the third quarter. What happened? What in the world happened?
Well, they took Rodgers out, and Tyrod Taylor went up and down up and down the field.
That's it. He can't play another game.
No.
That's it. Play Taylor Sunday and then just release him. He had the worst QBR of the season. And that's saying something because DTR's in the league. Denver plus 3.5. Oof. Denver second half. Denver Cincinnati under. Chase Brown. Actually, Zach Taylor, why run a play?
Why put it in his hands?
Why put it in his hands? Take 3 knees, kick the field goal, go home. And then he doesn't know what he's going to do. He gets caught. He gets hurt. Denver gets to keep their timeout. But, oh, my God. Cincinnati throws it from the 2. Impossible to lose that if you had the under in Denver plus 3.5. Last night, Washington, Atlanta under 46. Very popular play. 24-17. 4th and 11, no problem. 2nd and goal from the 26. 4th and goal from the 13, no problem. 30-24 final. And Friday, the Rockets pick 'em up 16 at home against the T-Wolves with 4 minutes left. Lost the game. How does this keep happening in the NBA? How does that happen?
The Bulls is worse.
Yes, it was.
Because they were getting the point.
They were getting 5.5 or what? 6.5.
8.
Want to become a sharper bettor this holiday season? VSiN has the ultimate gift for you or the sports bettor in your life. Take advantage of our holiday special. Everything we do through May 1st for $79. Every pick, every host, every guest, the betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. 24/7 video access to VSiN expert insights. All of our betting guides make this holiday season unforgettable with the gift of smarter betting. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe now. Unwrap your winning edge today. You'll be blown away by everything that's up there every single day. VSiN.com/subscribe. All right, where are we at? 24-14 Iowa.
Yeah, 5.5 left in the third.
Yeah, tough one for the SEC, huh? Okay.
This team was ranked in the top 10.
That was, what?
Well, they won 5 games at Como to start the year.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. Ridiculous. I'm looking, I'm trying what the Rice man said here. If we got Jamison Williams, what he is for rushing. That's a good tidbit. Let me bring that up here. Again, as I mentioned, 11-1 to score the first touchdown. Where's my rushing? He's 1.5. It's Caesars and Will Hill. He's 1.5 yards. Called his shot. And he's right about the long run to start the playoff game, too. Very good. Good tidbit. Excellent. Fun weekend?
Yeah.
Good action?
Good action.
Games? Yeah. Saturday was nuts with 11 football games. All the bowl games, right?
A nice hockey lineup.
It
was very
good. Put that in, okay.
Yeah. The bowl games were incredible, though. I thought they were.
Well, we had that sick run of dogs, too. Yeah, it's the opposite of the NFL.
Yeah.
With what the dogs were doing. Army, no problem.
No.
Iowa State in a great
TCU.
game. Oh, wow. Come on. Easy. How about the in-play total got to 102.5 in the Miami game?
Iowa State game.
Yeah. 8 drives, 8 touchdowns.
Well, I guess
start.
that assumed Cam Ward was going to stay in the game. I mean, it was a totally different game after they pulled him out at halftime.
Yep. Which was certainly in play there as well. No doubt. And then we started with, how about the field at Yankee Stadium? Guys slipping and sliding all over the place. Yeah. Goal line stands from Nebraska.
That was a weird game.
Yeah. Looked like they were going to blow them out. And then
there were a lot of trips into opponents' territory with no points. I think there were like 11 drives inside the 30, and they only had 3 scores at one point.
What do you think our guy Lombardi's going to do?
Well, he's got a lot of rebuilding to do. I mean, that
rough.
team is. That's on my. You cannot be serious.
Good.
You know what the first down came? Do you know when it came? 28 seconds left in the half against UConn. That was their first down. They stayed in the game because they had a kick return touchdown. They had a kick return touchdown when it was 10-0, 10-7. The first down was with prevent defense.
All right. They have NIL money. Lombardi's the GM. Yeah. Be fine.
What's the bar, though, for it to be a successful season?
Well, we'll go over the win total.
Is that
7.5?
Is that it?
Yeah.
They go
start out?
All right.
No?
They go 8,
Come on,
8
Mike,
and 4, and they play East Carolina and the Tostita Bowl or whatever. I mean,
look at some of these coaches he's going to be going against. It's the GOAT against some of these buffoons.
You mean the buffoons that are 0-10 against the spread in the bowls this year?
Right.
That's what they are.
Cannot wait. It's a very deep, thorough list. You cannot be serious. A special edition coming up next. VSiN, Follow the Money, the Sports Betting Network.